do want to talk about the Time magazine cover.
It's so good.
It's so good. I love the detail, well, all of it, but the detail of Elon Musk holding the paper coffee cup. But, you know, why are we making a thing of this? Because we know Donald Trump loves Time magazine so much, loved being on the cover, loved being the person of the year again. And the idea that this person is getting this kind of attention, you know, you would think on its face he would be upset about. I was told by somebody close to him this morning that we're all getting it wrong and that he loves the fact that he can be the sort of the superhero in the eyes of Trump world, and that Elon Musk can be the ultimate villain.
Right. I get that as a shield for a lot of the criticism. Perhaps it now goes to Elon Musk, and so it's not coming to the president. I would say that is true until it's not. So we'll see. You know, Donald Trump took multiple occasions in front of the press today to say, Elon's only doing the things we agree with. You know, where we disagree, Elon's not going to be allowed to do those things, is basically what his message was on a couple of occasions this week, which indicates to me that, like, this is still a marriage figuring itself out. And if indeed there are too many Time covers, I don't know if that'll still be Donald Trump's perception that it's really ultimately a good thing.
The President of the United States, the Japanese Prime Minister, spoke to reporters in the Oval Office. Let's watch.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか?
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this for a long time, and everybody else knew it was existent, but I think never so much. When you look at USAID, that's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous. And we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to monies coming in from tariffs, et cetera, but you know, he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions, Mr. President, at any point? Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions?
Oh, sure. He'll be. He's not shy. Elon's not shy.
We've been watching President Trump take questions alongside the Japanese Prime Minister in the Oval Office. Heard a lot of different topics discussed, including and especially the President and Elon Musk's continued crusade to dismantle the USAID program, America's Soft Power program, which he says is full of corruption and says that there's nothing good in USAID. And Jeff Zeleny at the White House, I'm going to bring you in because it's important to do a fact check here. I don't think even the biggest supporters of USAID would argue that it's not worth looking into and making sure that if there is money that is being misspent or on fraudulent programs, that is worth looking into and doing away with. But totally wholesale gutting the program, which does a lot, not only a lot of good around the globe, but also helps some American industries, like, for example, $1.5 billion in agriculture products from the United States goes around the world as part of USAID. What else did you take away from that?
And Dana, that is just one of the many reality checks here of these vast and very quick changes that the president is making really across the government. They all have real life fallout and effects. As he is hosting a parade of world leaders here, there are deep questions about not only soft power, but power and assistance in general. But just a few of the many headlines there as the president was in the Oval Office. Noted this is before a press conference he's going to have this afternoon. He was talking specifically about Gaza. He said there's no rush on Gaza. Of course, that was something that really shook the world when he said just a few nights ago here that the U.S. would own Gaza. He said there's no rush on Gaza. That underscores the fact that there really is no plan in place here. His administration has been scrambling to sort of catch up with his comments from earlier. He also talked about the trade imbalance with Japan. He threatened the idea of tariffs with Japan if the trade balance is not equalized. He talked about reciprocal tariffs for next week. But Dana, he also talked about that Elon Musk cover on Time Magazine. He said, is Time Magazine still in business? I think we both know that he, among many, know it is. Of course, he was Time's Man of the Year and was very proud of that fact.
And gave an
Dana?
extensive interview to Time Magazine, I
Indeed.
don't know, maybe a month, 2 months ago. Thank you so much, Jeff. There are a lot of important things, including the fact that he suggested that he might be welcoming the Ukrainian leader, Zelensky, perhaps next week. But I just quickly do want to talk about that reaction to the Elon Musk cover. His body language changed.
Not only the question about the cover, but also putting Elon Musk at the podium as well to potentially answer questions, which would move the spotlight as well to Elon Musk. It did seem like his body language changed a little bit, after that question. I'm looking forward to see if the White House actually follows through on that comment that he made too, that was saying that he would be okay with Elon Musk going to the podium to take questions.
Right. Because it's not just about a spotlight, it's about us having an ability to ask the man who has so much power questions.
Yeah. But on the cover itself that you're looking at there, the question was so pointed, right? Your resolute desk. What did you think of that? And you just saw, he first was like, no. And you could see the wheels still turning, that he perhaps thought he was being too defensive, and then comes up with the quip of is Time Magazine still in business? But that is what we call a pregnant pause between those two things that happened. He obviously, I know aides will tell us, oh, you guys got this all wrong, and he doesn't care. He told us right there how much he cares about
Yeah,
this.
I had given him a lot of credit for staying disciplined and not appearing to get trolled into, making comments that shows when his feelings are hurt. He was pulled in this time, and I think that quip about is Time Magazine still in business showed that it did nick him a little bit, and he wasn't able to hide it as well as perhaps he might want to.
I do want to, before we have to go, just kind of broaden it out a little bit and talk about the fact that we cannot overlook that while a lot of people in this country are scared, confused, not happy with the intentional chaos, a lot of people who voted for him are applauding. That this is the disruption that they have been hoping for and begging for. I'm not saying it's a big majority. I mean, different people voted for Donald Trump for different reasons, but I just think that needs to be represented.
Without a doubt. I mean, I don't even think that's in question. Obviously, the American people have told us loud and clear they don't think their government is all that functional and serving them all that well. And when a candidate like him came along and said he is going to bust things up, that was part of the appeal. And he's delivering on that. What we will learn to see is when it all hits reality, when the actual impact of the disruption is felt in people's lives, if they still support the notion.